The Senate will come to order. I ask everyone to please rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In the absence of clergy, let us bow our heads in a moment of silent reflection or prayer. Reading of the Journal.
In Senate, Friday, May 15, 2026, the Senate met pursuant to adjournment. Journal of Thursday, May 14, 2026, was read and approved. On motion, Senate adjourned.
Without objection, the Journal stands approved as read. Presentations of petitions, messages from the Assembly. Secretary will read.
Another message.
Oh,
Just messages.
messages from the Governor. So reports of standing committees, reports of select committees, communications and reports from state officers, motions and resolutions. Senator Gianaris.
Good morning, Madam President. On behalf of Senator Salazar, I wish to call up Senate Print 2666, a recall from the Assembly, which is now at the desk.
Secretary will read.
Calendar number 597, Senate Print 2666A by Senator Salazar, an act to amend the correction law.
I move to reconsider the vote by which this bill was passed.
The Secretary will call the roll on reconsideration.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Sor-Cutton, Zellner, ayes 51.
The bill is restored to its place on the third reading calendar.
Now for the following amendments.
The amendments are received.
I also have amendments to the following third reading calendar bills by Senator Stavisky, Calendar 551, by Senator Martinez, Calendar 670.
The amendments are received and the bills will retain their place on the third reading calendar. Senator
There will be
Gianaris.
an immediate meeting of the Rules Committee, room 332.
The Senate will stand at ease. There will be an immediate meeting of the Rules Committee and the Senate will stand at ease. Sorry. Turn to order. Senator Gianaris.
Madam President, there's a report of the Rules Committee at the desk. Please take it up.
Secretary will read.
Senator Stewart Cousins from the Committee on Rules reports the following bill. Senate Print 10,520 by Senator Serrano, an act making appropriation for the support of government. Bill reports direct to third reading.
I move to accept the report of the Rules Committee.
All those in favor of accepting the report of the Rules Committee, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. The report of the Rules Committee is accepted. Senator Gianaris.
Please take up the supplemental calendar.
Secretary will read.
Calendar number 1123, Senate Print 10,520 by Senator Serrano, an act making appropriation for the support of government.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Is there a message of necessity and appropriation at the desk?
There is a message of necessity and appropriation at the desk.
I move to accept the message.
All those in favor of accepting the message, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. The message is accepted and the bill is before the House. The bill is laid aside. Senator Gianaris, that completes the reading of the supplemental calendar.
Madam President, we're going to stand at ease momentarily while we await the senators who will be debating the bill.
The Senate will stand at ease. Senator Gianaris.
Madam President, let's take up the controversial supplemental calendar, please.
The Secretary will ring the bell. The Secretary will read.
Calendar number 1123, Senate Print 10,520 by Senator Serrano, an act making appropriation for the support of government.
Senator O'Mara, why do you rise?
Good morning, Madam President.
Good morning.
I was wondering if the sponsor of this budget extender is willing to answer a few questions.
Senator Serrano, do you yield?
Yes.
Senator yields.
Senator, it's Monday morning, just before noon. Can you tell us where we are in the status of closing down this budget and actually getting budget bills to vote on?
Through you, Madam President, thank you for that question, Senator O'Mara. It certainly is Monday morning, and I'm very happy to report that this is our 13th extender, but I do feel that we are closer than we've ever been to getting this budget completed. We certainly are in the final stages of putting all things together, but certainly this extender before us allows for the continuation of state government and for certain payments that are due and ensures that we can have a functioning government.
Thank you, Madam President. Will the senator continue to yield?
You continue to yield?
Yes.
Senator yields.
Senator, this extender brings us an additional $8 billion in spending, approximately. Total of nearly $32 billion in total of extenders, which takes us over 15% of last year's entire budget. So I think it's important that we get this budget done and wrapped up. But a couple of the particulars on this extender. It has in there $5.9 billion for school aid, school to district payments. Can you tell us how much so far the total paid out to school districts during this budget extension period has been?
Through you, Madam President, Senator O'Mara, approximately $8.2 billion has been paid out.
Through you, Madam President, the Senator will continue to yield.
Continue to yield. Senator yield.
So as we all know, school budgets are being voted on tomorrow. Do you have any further information for us on what our school districts can expect and what they're going to receive in this year's budget, if and when it ever gets finalized?
Madam President, certainly empathize with the school districts throughout the state who are probably concerned that we don't have a budget yet. But the executive budget did highlight a certain amount for school aid. Our Senate One House built upon that by a certain percentage. Those are good guides, and a contingency budget or a contingency plan by school districts, I think, would probably be in order until we have a final enacted budget.
Thank you. Through you, Madam President, will the Senator continue to yield?
You continue to yield.
Yep.
Senator yield.
Senator, this extender, in addition to that $5.9 billion in additional school aid distributions, has a payment of $4.8 million in particular to the Yonkers City School District. Is that included in that $5.9 million? And if not, what is that for?
Thank you, Madam President. It's a separate number. It's a spin-up as been done in prior years. These payments really are contingent upon the timing of them, and that is why this is in this particular extender. But beyond that, this extender is what is known as a clean extender without a whole lot of extra stuff in it.
Madam President, the Senator will continue to yield.
You continue to yield.
Yes.
Senator yield.
Senator, I just don't recall whether the prior extenders had a separate line in them for Yonkers, and if so, how much? And can you explain what you mean by a spin-up?
Madam President, by spin-up, it means advance of payment. This is something that has been done in prior years. It's been done for different school districts throughout the state. So certainly there is precedent for it. But again, because we do not have a final enacted budget at this time and that these payments are critical and due, it is necessary for it to be in this extender.
Thank you, Senator. Madam President, the Senator will continue to yield.
You continue to yield.
Yep.
Senator yield.
Senator, can you tell us what the remaining issues are in this budget that have yet to be closed out?
Through you, Madam President, as has been widely reported, there are a number of different issues that we are in the process of closing down, and I think all interested parties have been working very diligently, and staffs have been doing an amazing job. I'm pulling together all the numbers and making sure the math adds up. I think the issues that sort of have prevented us from finalizing this budget have been resolved more and more, and I feel very confident that in the next few days we will see resolution and get us closer to printing of bills, the final 9 bills that we will need to enact this budget.
Thank you, Senator. Madam President, the Senator will continue to yield.
Do you continue to yield?
Yes.
Senator yield.
As you stated, we have 9 budget bills to do. When do you expect the first of those to be in print?
Through you, Madam President, it's difficult to say. I don't want to speculate. I do believe that it will be sooner rather than later. We certainly need to get this done. I share your frustration and everyone's frustration with the lateness of this budget. However, in a state like New York with such a large, complex set of issues to be dealt with, and the many different regions. And it is far more important to have a good budget than an on-time budget, although deadlines do matter. But I think the process has been, I think, a result of a very thoughtful and comprehensive approach to this budget. So I feel that in the next few days, we will have some sort of indication of when we will begin to close all this down.
Thank you, Senator. Madam President, if the senator will continue to yield.
Do you continue to yield?
Yes.
Senator Yield.
Senator, I agree with you that this is a large state. It's certainly a very large spending state, and the budget is complicated, but it's complicated every year, and April 1st comes on April 1st every year. We know when that's coming, and the fact that just, I believe, is dysfunctional, that we're not able to wrap this up by April 1st every year. And now we're 7 weeks late coming into this. Can you tell us, Senator, why does this extender only go until Wednesday, only for 2 days?
Through you, Madam President, the timing of the extenders and the length of time in which they cover it depends on what we're given. This isn't something that we dictate. This is what we were given. And they vary. Sometimes they go for more days or for less, but this is what we have before us.
Thank you, Senator. Madam President, the senator will continue to yield.
You continue to yield?
Yes.
Senator Yield.
Senator, one of the issues I think that's still considered to be outstanding is the any changes, if any, to the Tier 6 retirement system. It's been at least reported and estimated that there's going to be a cost of $500 million to that. Can you tell us what changes are going to be made in this final Tier 6 bill, and is that $500 million cost to the state or cost to the state and the local governments that share in the retirement contributions?
Through you, Madam President, I cannot speculate on any final deals when it comes to that issue. Without budget language in front of me to review, it's hard to know exactly what those details will be. So I certainly don't want to speculate.
Thank you, Madam President. If any senator that knows where the Tier 6 issue ends would be happy to answer a question, I'd be happy to ask them.
Through you, Madam President, the bill before us does not deal with that. We are voting on an extender, which will ensure, we should do it within the next few minutes, will ensure that we can meet payroll, will ensure that we can pay for certain things that we are obligated to do so, and it will ensure that we have a functioning state government until we have a final enacted budget.
Thank you, Madam President. The senator will continue to yield, and I'll take that answer as nobody else here knows where we stand on that issue. Senator, is there any senator present from the majority that knows where we stand on any of the major policy issues that have been outstanding? The Tier 6, the pied-à-terre tax, other benefits for New York, added benefits for New York City, other issues that are outstanding. Can anybody tell us where any of those issues stand?
Senator O'Mara, Senator Serrano is the sponsor of the bill, and he's designated to respond to the questions.
Madam President, I'm asking if any other senator here knows the answers to those questions.
Yes, I understand, but you're asking if the sponsor of the bill is Senator Serrano, so I'm just suggesting that he's the one who's responsible.
I am really asking the Senate majority if anybody here has information on where we stand on these budget items.
Madam President, if I could respond, certainly those discussions would not be germane to the bill before us. We have a bill that we need to either pass or not pass, but it is certainly the issues in which you're looking for answers is not part of this extender bill, and it's not germane to the conversation right now.
To you, Madam President, well, I certainly respectfully disagree that those questions are not relevant to this extender, since this extender is the budget, and those issues are budget discussions. But I realize I'm not going to get an answer to those questions, as I haven't to any of the other prior 12 extenders that we've done here to inform New Yorkers where we stand on this. If the senator will continue to yield.
You continue to yield? Yes,
Yeah.
the senator yields.
Senator, with regards to the discussions around the pied-à-terre tax that's been discussed for second homes in New York City, can you tell us where that stands as the discussions for expanding that to the entire state?
Through you, Madam President, I cannot. I do not have any additional information on where we stand on that, and until we have final budget language, it's hard to speculate.
Through you, Madam President, the Senator will continue to yield.
You continue to yield? Yes, the senator yields.
Senator, what is the total amount of this budget that is being considered? We've heard $268 billion. Do we have is that figure nailed down, or is that still moving?
Through you, Madam President, until we see the final budget, it's hard to know what that number will be. It is probably not a fixed number at this point, but we'll be able to see that as soon as we close everything down.
Thank you. Madam President, the Senator will continue to yield.
Yes.
Continue to yield? Yes, the senator yields.
Senator, is there a schedule for the joint budget conference committees to meet?
Madam President, no.
Thank you, Senator. Madam President, on the bill.
Senator O'Mara on the bill.
Here we are rushing to pass another budget extender by noon so that certain obligations can be met. No more answers today than we've had in the prior 12 budget extenders. You know, people around my district want to know where the budget stands, why it's not being done, what issues are outstanding, what issues have been agreed to. And frankly, they deserve to know. All New Yorkers deserve to know what is being negotiated in this budget, because there's little to no information coming from this Senate majority in these 13 budget extenders that we're on now. It's not good government. We need to be doing better for the people of New York, and the people of New York should have the opportunity to know what's in this budget so that they can weigh in with us to tell us what they think about it, tell us where we should stand on this budget as we are their representatives, and leaving them in the dark. Certainly, many of these issues I've asked about have got to be wrapped up, I would assume, or close thereto. I don't see why the public can't be engaged in this conversation that is going on behind closed doors with 3 people in a room. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Are there any other senators wishing to be heard? Seeing and hearing none, debate is closed. Senator Gianaris.
Madam President, we've agreed to restore this bill to the non-controversial calendar.
The bill has been restored to the non-controversial calendar. Read the last section.
Section 17, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Sukut, and Zellner.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1123, voted in the negative are Senators Rhodes and White. Ayes 57, nays 2.
The bill is passed. Senator Gianaris.
Now let's move on to take up some resolutions. We begin with previously adopted Resolution 1948 by Senator Hinchey. Please read that resolution's title and call on Senator Hinchey.
The secretary will read.
Resolution 1948 by Senator Hinchey, commending New York State 4-H upon the occasion of hosting its 91st annual Capitol Days on May 17 through 19, 2026.
Senator Hinchey on the resolution.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise today to celebrate the leadership of New York's 4-H students. Today, we are honored to welcome 51 4-H delegates to the Capitol. They have traveled from 23 counties across our state for the 91st annual 4-H Capitol Days Conference. For nearly a century, 4-H students have chosen to step out of the classroom and into the halls of government, taking it upon themselves to advocate for the issues they care about most. When I meet 4-Hers out in my district, including at the fairgrounds in Ulster, Columbia, Dutchess, and Greene counties, I'm consistently struck by their sense of curiosity and motivation to improve the world around them. Whether they are learning about the latest in agri-tech, animal science, horticulture, or sustainable farming practices, these delegates are gaining the knowledge and hands-on skills that will help shape the future. Just as importantly, they are developing the critical thinking and innovation needed for the next generation to carry this and many other vital industries forward. 4-Hers are 4 times more likely to give back to their communities, 4 times more likely to feel a sense of inner confidence, and 2 times more likely to hold leadership positions. And thanks to the incredible 4-H educators at CCE, the impact of this program is statewide. 4-Hers can be found everywhere from New York City to the Mid-Hudson Valley to the Capital Region in Western New York. To all of our 4-H students, I urge you to continue challenging the status quo, widening your perspective, and stepping boldly into the leadership that we need today. I'm excited to welcome a few of these student leaders here, including a 4-H'er from Hillsdale in my Senate district, Nathan. All of these students were selected to serve on the team planning committee during this year's 4-H conference. Students, Nathan, you can stand. I'll call you too, but you should stand. Celis Paratori, Lily Roop, Nathan Foster from Hillsdale, Ashley Niefergold, Emerson Swimolier, Sophie Townsend, Emma Copeland, and chaperones Rebecca Ireland Perry, chair of the Capitol Days Conference, Adam Davis, Extension Support Specialist at Cornell University, leader of the Team Planning Committee for the conference, and Tammy Crone, 4-H livestock educator for Cornell Cooperative Extension of Erie County, leader of the Team Planning Committee for the conference. We appreciate all of you so much for being here, for your leadership, and for taking on all of the challenges that we see today. Having you and all of your fellow 4-H'ers stepping forward into the spotlight, making sure that we actually have young people who are engaged in this moment is so critical, and for that, we thank you. I think there at least another conversation on the reso, but after that, Madam Speaker, I'd love for you to offer them the cordialities of the chamber. Thank you.
Yes, we will. Senator Borrello on the resolution. You to stand in a minute.
Thank you, Madam President. I want to echo the sentiments of our Chairwoman of Agriculture and welcome you all to the Chamber and to Albany. 91 years of advocacy, of engagement. This is what 4-H is all about. I know everyone thinks of 4-H as an agricultural organization, but it is a leadership organization. Building the leaders of tomorrow here in Albany and across New York State. Thank you for doing this, for understanding and engaging that what you do is important and it matters. For those of you that are here to chaperone them, to guide them, thank you also. Besides food, we're growing leaders here in New York State. So thank you very much. God bless you for being here. And again, Madam President, please welcome them.
Thank you, Senator Borrello. Senator Helming on the resolution.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise today to support this resolution and to recognize the positive impact that 4-H continues to have on young people across our entire state. I also want to offer a special acknowledgement to the 4-H members who are here from my district, from Ontario County and from Wayne County. Thank you so much for being here and for the great work you do representing our community so well. Your hard work, your dedication, and your willingness to get involved are exactly what make programs like 4-H so important. And to the leaders who are here, I want to also thank you for making these opportunities available. You invest so much time, energy, and I know from some of you, even your own financial resources to create these wonderful opportunities for our next generations of leaders. So to everyone involved with 4-H, to CCE, thank you. I'm proud to vote yes on this reso.
Thank you, Senator Helming. To our guests from 4-H and your leadership, we welcome you to the Senate. We thank you for your presence here today. We extend the privileges and cordialities of the House to you. Please rise and be recognized. Senator Gianaris.
Let's now move on to previously adopted resolution 2054 by Senator Matera. Read that resolution's title and call on Senator Matera.
The previous resolution was adopted on April 28th. The Secretary will read.
Resolution 2054 by Senator Matera, memorializing Governor Kathy Hochul to proclaim May 18, 2026 as Italian American Day in the state of New York.
Senator Matera on the resolution.
Thank you, Madam President. This is a very, very special day. Buongiorno a tutti. I would also like to first acknowledge and thank our president of the Italian American Conference, Assemblyman Angelo Judge Marinello, and thank you to all of the staff and all to the Senate and the Assembly members for all the hard work to make sure this is a very, very special day, especially to be an Italian American. As a proud vice president of the New York Conference of Italian American Legislators, It is truly an honor to stand before this body today as we formally recognize and celebrate Italian American Day in the state of New York. Today is about heritage. It is about sacrifice. It is about resilience. And it is about recognizing the extraordinary impact Italian Americans have had on the state of New York and on the United States of America. There are more than 3 million proud Italian Americans living in New York State today. Their families and ancestors helped build this state and this nation. Italian Americans were instrumental in building New York City into the greatest city in the world, from bridges to tunnels to subways to roads to skyscrapers and infrastructure, and to define our skyline. Italian laborers and tradesmen physically built this city and New York State with their bare hands, blood, sweat, and tears. They worked dangerous jobs. They endured discrimination. They were often treated terribly. And for many years, they did not receive the respect they deserved. That history is personal for me. My grandfather, Mario Lanza Matera, came to America from Naples when he was just only 16 years old, frightened. For most of my life, I believed his name was changed at Ellis Island because someone misspelt it. But the truth is much more painful. My Uncle Louis told me the story at the vet's home at Stony Brook. He changed his name because he could not get a job. He changed his name to Mario Maters, which, believe it or not, my uncle still has the last name Maters. Got changed in the 40s, and they didn't change that because it was too much problems. My grandfather survived. He worked hard, raised a family, and owned 2 restaurants, one in Manhattan and one in Island Park, which our great Congressman D'Amato used to go there all the time. Changed his name back to Mario Lanza Matera in the 40s. That is in the reality of many Italian immigrants faced when they came to this country legally and in search of opportunity and better life for their families. Yet despite those hardships, they persevered. They built businesses, they built neighborhoods, they built churches, they built unions. They survived in our military, they served in our military. They protected our communities as police officers and firefighters and became elected officials. And then they helped shape the economy and culture backbone of New York State. Today, Italian Americans are leaders in every field imaginable: public service, business, law enforcement, labor, education, sports, healthcare, construction, entertainment, and charity organizations. Their achievements serve as a powerful reminder that the importance of honoring those who paved the way for future generations. This proclamation also aligns with Italy's national holiday, Festa della Repubblica Italiana, commemorating the historic day the Italian people voted to establish a democratic republic. That shared milestone gives us an opportunity to celebrate our heritage both here in New York and abroad. As somebody deeply proud of my Italian roots, I am mindful every day that I stand on shoulders of those who came before me. And I am honored to help preserve and to enduring legacy, especially keeping Columbus Day as Columbus Day only, an Italian-American holiday. In that spirit, the New York State Conference of Italian-American Legislators is proud to recognize several exceptional Italian-American New Yorkers whose leadership and dedication continue to inspire future generations that are up in the gallery here today. New York Islander Kyle Palmieri, Mark Coppola, John Durso, great union leader and friend who protects the hardworking men and women of labor every day. Dean Tambury, former Assemblyman Mike Dendecker, former Assemblyman and current Congressman Andrew Garbarino that is doing a great job down in D.C. Additionally, our legislator honorees this year are our brother, our colleague, George Borrello. No round of applause for that? I'm sorry. I know you're going to get that. And Assembly Minority Leader Ed Ra. Congratulations, Leader Ra. Also proudly serves as treasurer of the conference. Each of these individuals had made a significant impact on our state and communities. I would also like to recognize distinguished guests joining us up here today. The man that has been a mentor to me, always works with everybody, cares about everybody, Robert Fonte, President of the Italian American Action Committee and liaison to the New York State Order Sons of Italy America. Anthony Bonamo, Jr., Vice President of the Italian American Action Committee. Anthony Moretto, Vice President of the Italian American Action Committee. Dr. Joseph Schelscher, President and founder of the New York City Italian American Museum in Little Italy in Manhattan. Mark Toludo, member of the Italian American Culture Museum in Albany and honorary chairman of the Italian Action Committee. Laura Moretta, Venezuelan ambassador to the Italian American Action Committee. And Antonio Nino Vendome, executive board member of the Italian American Action Committee. We thank all of you and your dedication preserving, promoting Italian American culture, history, and community. Today we celebrate Italian American Day and Independence Day, that we are reminded that New York's strength comes from diversity. Every culture, every neighborhood, every family story, especially at dinner time, because no one can get a word in otherwise, but we have such a great, interesting conversation. Every immigrant journey, and of course, Italian recipes. We love to eat, everybody loves Italian food. Together, Italian Americans help build the greatest state, the greatest nation in the world. And it is only through the same shared commitment, unity, and hard work that we will continue to thrive for generations to come. I ask all of my colleagues today to join me in celebrating Italian American Day and honoring the countless contributions Italian Americans have made to our state and nation. Please join us at the Well for the Mulberry Street Fair, and especially Festa tonight. God bless all Italian Americans. God bless Italy, and especially, God bless the United States of America. Grazie, cent'anni, which means 100 years. Oh, Mr. President, please welcome to our chamber with our friends, and to extend all courtesies of the House and to our honored guests, and to say thank you so much for coming up here and spending this special day with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Matera. At the appropriate time, because you have such a popular resolution, so many of the members want to speak on it. Senator Chan on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise today with a speech much shorter and sweeter than Senator Matera's, like a cannoli. I am from Bensonhurst. My neighbors are Italian. I rise to recognize some of my closest friends and neighbors for the better half of the last 5 decades. People that I grew up with, people that I love. And I'm here to give thanks to the people that welcome all the other communities to their neighborhood with their hearts, their open arms, their compassion and kindness through all these decades. It has been a pleasure for me to live intimately with my Italian friends and neighbors who I consider to be my family. And from Pavarotti to Bocelli, from Verdi to Venuto, and I'm talking about Angelo Venuto, the Italian Neil Diamond, right? From the barometer to the telescope, the piano, the espresso machine, Italian contributions to mankind is endless and precious. Oh yeah, wait, Pellegrino. Yeah. Let us not forget the famous Dyker lights, which my house is a part of every year. Let us not forget the Santa Rosalia feast on 18th Avenue, enjoyed by everyone across the boroughs, and everyone loves it, and all the famous local dishes. A couple of shout-outs to some local places. We have Spumoni Gardens, we have Villabate Bakery, Il Coliseo Restaurant, Ciccio's Pizza, La Bella Market, Leone Italian Heroes, John's Deli, J&V, DJ Ross, St. Athanasius Roman Catholic Church, St. Dominic's Roman Catholic Church, Our Lady of Guadalupe Roman Catholic Church, Regina Passes, St. Finbar's, all local neighborhood beloved places. It's just an amazing neighborhood where we all thrive together, and I live side by side with the Italians. And today is your day, your day. I stand to recognize you. It's amore. Grazie.
Thank you, Senator Chan. Senator Cantaneri Fitzpatrick on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. I, too, want to thank our honored guest for being here. I'm very proud of my Italian heritage. Why else would I have a horrendously long, hyphenated name unless I wanted to make sure that people knew that my maiden name was Canzaneri. Anthony Canzaneri, my grandfather, came from a town in Sicily, Prizzi, and was the first merchant in my hometown of Malvern. He was a shoemaker who never had more than a first or second grade education, yet came to this country for the opportunities that it had, worked hard, raised a family. All three of his sons went to college, much beyond the education that he had. His bride, my grandmother, Sophie Canzaneri, also came from that same hometown in Prizzi, Sicily, and I'm very proud of what they accomplished by coming to this country. It is a great day to celebrate our Italian heritage, people that work hard, that are based in faith, family, and of course our good food, as our colleagues have discussed. So thank you, Senator Matera, for your leadership, for making sure that we all know that our Italian heritage is important and something we should celebrate. I proudly vote aye. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Canzaneri. Fitzpatrick. Senator Weber on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I want to thank Senator Matera for this very important resolution, and I also want to just highlight the great work that the Italian-American legislators do in providing scholarship opportunities to students. And we were lucky enough to have Silvana Bada, who's I know here in the Capitol. She may be walking over in a minute. She was one of the honorees that got the scholarship this year. I just want to tell everyone a little bit about Silvana Bada. She's a 17-year-old senior at Clarkstown North High School. She's a second-generation college student. Her paternal grandparents emigrated to the United States from Italy in the 1970s. Her mother's grandparents immigrated to the U.S. from Italy in the 1950s. She has a 98.6 grade point average, scored a 1420 on the SATs, and a score of 4 or 5 on all of her AP exams. Really a highly educated and really committed young student. She'll be attending Lehigh University this coming fall. She has a twin brother, and she highlighted that she's 1 minute younger than her twin brother, but they're both going to college this year, and it's an honor to really recognize her great academic achievements. She also was involved in sports, extracurricular activities, volunteer opportunities as well, and was employed during her time in high school as well. She's going to college to become a doctor, so she's looking to major in biology and attend medical school when she graduates. So I wanted to just recognize her great achievement as part of Italian-American Day here today in the Capitol, and when ready, if we can acknowledge her and give her all the cordiality to the House as well.
Thank you, Senator Weber. Senator Mayer on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, it's interesting, so many of my colleagues who have spoken are from the suburbs of New York City. And for all of us, and particularly for Westchester, where about 30% of the population is Italian-American, we need to stand and salute Italian-American Day and make sure that our Italian-American friends and neighbors recognize how much we value their contributions of extraordinary hard work, building businesses, contributing to our communities. Obviously, they're keeping their culture alive, their language alive for the next generation, and most importantly to many of us, the food alive and keeping the recipes alive. In Yonkers itself, which about 10% of the population is Italian-American, New Rochelle, which I represent with Senator Fernandez, about 13%, and the town of Harrison, 30%. So I have to try to improve my Italian and eat more and drink more when I'm there, which I try to do. But today we are recognizing the contributions of this community. And about 2 weeks ago, the leader and I were celebrating at the Enrico Fermi Scholarship Breakfast in Yonkers, recognizing extraordinary students of Italian-American heritage who receive a scholarship. And this is a long-lasting not-for-profit that recognizes the importance of keeping culture and language alive in the next generation. So I'm so pleased that we're recognizing this day, and to our guests, I look forward to you welcoming them. Let us all acknowledge the extraordinary contributions of the Italian-American community to our communities and to New York State as a whole. Thank you. I vote aye.
Thank you, Senator. Mayor, Senator Scarcella-Spanson on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Senator Matera, for this resolution. I said I had to stand up as a fellow, very long last name, hyphenated senator, of course. I thank my dad for that, but my dad, Mike Scarcella, is from Hazleton, Pennsylvania, and I know Senator Mayer also has family from Hazleton, Pennsylvania, which makes the world very, very small. But his grandparents, Aronzo and Josephine, came to Hazleton and opened a store on Carson Street, and were known for having the best sausage in all of Pennsylvania. So they came to New York, it was, to Pennsylvania probably in the 1800s, but they carried on that tradition. And one of my favorite events every year up here in Albany is the Festa that everyone's gonna be at tonight. It reminds me so much of growing up, going to visit my dad's family in Pennsylvania. Every year they had the street procession down the local road. They had a big festival. It was such a beautiful time. So whenever I go in the evening, it just reminds me of my family and growing up. And of course, Staten Island is home to so many Staten Islanders and parts of my district in southern Brooklyn, but I think Senator Chan has a good chunk of those now. But truly, it is an honor to be an Italian American. I am very proud, and I thank my dad, Mike Scarcella, for that honor. So thank you, and happy Italian Heritage Day.
Thank you, Senator Scarcella-Spanson. Senator Fernandez on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd be remiss if the Bronx didn't stand up for Italy and the Italian heritage that contributed to our great borough. Believe it or not, the real Little Italy is in the Bronx, on Arthur Avenue. If anybody tells you different, you're wrong. But we have such a great love for the Italian Americans in the Bronx. We thank you so much for the contributions. I've been fortunate enough to visit the beautiful country of Italy, and I highly recommend you visit Lake Como. But thank you to the amazing contributions of the Italian Americans for the Bronx, for New York State, and I'm proud to vote on this resolution too.
Thank you, Senator Fernandez. Senator Palumbo on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise as well just to briefly see someone's a proud Italian-American baby, I think, making some comments. Congratulations and welcome to our distinguished guests. And when you look on Long Island and you look at our elected officials, we have a huge swath, if not a supermajority, of elected officials in all offices at all levels whose names end in a vowel. My grandparents, I'm actually only half Italian, big reveal today, but my grandparents met on this side. My grandfather was actually Palomba from Piano di Sorrento. My grandmother came from a little town outside of Naples called Portici, and they met here. My grandfather wasn't naturalized until he was in his 40s, actually. They were proud Americans, Italian-American heritage, but they would not allow the kids, my father was one of 7, they weren't allowed to speak Italian outside of the house because they were so proud of this country and what they can do to it and what they could and what they did do for it. I'm the first elected official in the family, and fortunately a few years ago I was able to get dual citizenship as an Italian American, and my daughter as well, who's now minoring in Italian in college, and my son's also taking some courses. So I'm proud to stand here as an Italian-American, congratulate our friends, salud. I'm working on my Italian, so pretty soon I'll be as fluent as Senator Griffo, but proudly vote aye, and thank you for coming.
Thank you. Senator White on the resolution.
Thank you, Madam President. And in honor of Italian American Day, I'll say that I am 0.02% Italian, which I think equates to probably we inhaled some wonderful aromas of Italian food on our way from Germany to America. But I'm still not going to deny that portion of my heritage, and I want to say thank you to everyone for supporting our community. I do represent an enormous amount of Italian Americans, including an enormous population in Massapequa, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention how many people really truly take time to celebrate their Italian American heritage, and I want to thank you so much for all of your support and all the work that you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator White. Senator Murray on the resolution.
Thank you, Madam President. I, too, want to thank Senator Matera for all of his hard work and thank our friends for coming to celebrate today, and thank the Italian Americans for everything they've contributed to this wonderful country and bringing such a great, rich heritage here. I was honored this year by the Sons of Italy as one of their honorees, and I'd like to remind Senator Palumbo here that he mentioned that their names all end in a vowel, so I'll leave you with this. A-E-I-O-U and sometimes Y. I vote aye.
Senator Murray. Senator Bailey on the resolution.
Thank you, Madam President. Senator Murray stole my complete thunder. I was going to go with the sometimes why, but sometimes times like this in this chamber is when we can look on things that from a bipartisan lens and just respect and appreciate culture. Not sometimes, but always. And while my ancestry DNA has 0.0% Italian blood in my veins, culturally, I love my Italian American brothers and sisters. I truly appreciate all of your contributions through so many cultural endeavors that you provided, not limited to, but including food and culture and music and all of the wonderful things. But I wanted to thank two important Italian Americans in my life. My former principal, PS 83, Ronald I. Mundy. Ron I. Mundy is now with CSA, sometimes retired. Him and his wife, Janice, are really amazing people. And when I was in school in PS 83, only spent from kindergarten to 4th grade, I remember his outsized impact in making sure that everybody was treated equally. I remember Ron as a 4th grader, and I remember him as an adult running for office, and he's an incredible man. And I want to thank, now, may he rest in peace, Judge Anthony Mercarella. Anthony Mercarella was a former assembly member, and then he became a judge, and he was also somebody that I looked to for advice at times in my life and was deciding to go to law school. So I want to thank them and all of the incredible Italian Americans and the Senate's own George Borrello. Congratulations on your award, and everybody that is contributed to our culture. These cultural celebrations are critically important. I am proud to vote aye. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Senator Martin's on the resolution.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise to support the resolution as well because I agree with all of my colleagues. Today and every day, we are all partially Italian. At least in part, we have been influenced by the Italian culture. And if we consider world history, there is probably no other country in the world or culture in the world that has contributed more to civilization in world history than the Italians. Whether it's linguistics, whether it is science, whether it's the arts, we all have a part of that culture with us each and every day. And then we can talk about the great Italian explorers, Christopher Columbus, Amerigo Vespucci, for which America was named, and we can celebrate that heroism and that culture as well, and then talk about our local Italian-American communities right here who have built our communities and made us who we are today. We can talk about their contributions not only to American life, New York life, but to each and every one of our villages and towns. So, Madam President, I am proud to stand with my colleagues today to recognize our honorees and our honored guests who are here, to thank Senator Matera for the resolution, and I vote aye.
Thank you. Senator Rhodes on the resolution.
Thank you, Madam President. Now, I myself am half Italian. My grandmother coming from Naples, my grandfather coming from Bari, but my wife is 100% Italian. So if I did not get up to speak on this resolution, it would be a tough day at home. St. Joseph, many people celebrate St. Patrick's Day. In our household, we also celebrate St. Joseph's Day on the 19th. But I want to thank our honorees today for your tremendous leadership and for your celebration of Italian history and culture, which has had such tremendous influence on everything that is America. And to our guests, again, thank you. To Senator Matera, thank you for bringing this resolution, and I'm looking forward to the celebration tonight.
Thank you. To our guests who are here for Italian American Day and all the festivities that go with it, we welcome you on behalf of the Senate. We extend to you the privilege and cordialities of the House. Thank you for rising, and thank you for being recognized, and thank you for your sign. The resolution was previously adopted on May 12th. Senator Gineris.
Thank you, Madam President. I want to assure the mother of the beautiful baby in our gallery that she need not feel bad. I often cry when Senator Palumbo speaks. Please recognize Senator Serrano for an introduction.
Senator Serrano for an introduction.
Thank you, Madam President. for hearing me on this introduction. Visiting the Chamber today, I would like to introduce and welcome 6 young members of the fencing team at the Rosalind Yallow Charter School in the South Bronx. They're also joined by their parents, some school administrators, and 2 coaches. As chair of the Committee on Cultural Affairs, Tourism, Parks and Recreation, which also encompasses sports development, I am really excited to learn about their fencing team. If one might question, what does fencing have to do with the South Bronx? Indeed, Daryl Homer from Gun Hill Road in the South Bronx won the silver medal in the 2016 Olympics in Rio for fencing. So we do have a precedent of amazing fencing athletes from the Bronx. I would like to thank these young students and fencing stars for being with us today and from traveling all the way from the Bronx to be with us here in Albany. I would like to welcome you to this chamber and offer all the cordialities of the House. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Serrano. To our guests from the Rosalind Yallow fencing team, we welcome you to the Senate. We extend to you the privileges and courtesies of the House. Thank you for being here with your beautiful uniforms on. Thank you. Senator Gianaris.
Now let's take up previously adopted Resolution 1620 by Senator Weber. Have its title read and call on Senator Weber, please.
Secretary will read.
Resolution 1620 by Senator Weber, mourning the death of Dennis Michael Troy, distinguished public servant, devoted family man, and tireless advocate for the Orangetown community.
Senator Weber on the resolution.
Thank you, Madam President, for allowing me to speak today on this very personal and important resolution. So I rise today to remember a truly remarkable man, Dennis Michael Troy, who recently passed away at the age of 78. To many of us, Dennis was quite simply Mr. Pearl River, a larger-than-man life who had the same and the unique ability to make everyone feel important, heard, and loved. Before moving to Rockland, Dennis was born in the Fordham section of the Bronx to Catherine and Peter Troy. He graduated from St. Nicholas of Tolentine High School and eventually Manhattan College, where he earned his degree in mathematics. In fact, he started out his career teaching math and driver education before moving into the technology field, working at AT&T, Lucent, and IBM. But Dennis's true calling was public service. For more than 3 decades, Dennis served the people of Rockland County with distinction as a county legislator, Orangetown councilman, and deputy town supervisor in Orangetown. He loved Pearl River, and I could attest to that. I had an event one time up in Montebello where I live, and he thought it was like traveling halfway around the world coming out of Pearl River. But it was important for him to really keep those bonds together. He spent countless hours personally improving the community in a lasting way for future generations. His greatest joy, however, was his family, who are here today. He shared 54 loving years with his wife, Bea, and his children are here as well. They met at a school dance, right, in the Bronx, and they were together and in love for 54 years. Together they raised 4 children and were blessed with 9 grandchildren, all of whom were the center of his world. A proud member of the AOH, Dennis lived by its motto, friendship, unity, and Christian charity. Those principles defined his life. Rockland County is better and stronger because Dennis Troy walked among us and inspired many to run for office, including myself. May we honor his memory not only with his words, but by following his examples, showing up for our neighbors, serving our communities, and treating one another with kindness and dignity. I just want to read into the record the family members that are here today. I mentioned Bea Troy, his wife is here, Patrick Troy, Valerie Troy, Dennis Troy, Colin Troy, Michael Rogers, Mike Troy, Jen Troy, Dan Troy, Kristen Troy, Maddie Troy, Brendan Troy, Kieran Troy, Kathleen Mayer, Glenn Mayer, Sierra Mayer, and Riley Mayer. Thank you for all coming today to the chamber here in the Capitol. I know your dad, grandfather would all be proud of you for being here today. God bless you, Dennis, to a life well served. You'll be missed beyond measure, and I say rest in peace, my eternal friend. Madam President, will you please extend all the courtesies of the House to Dennis Troy's extended family that are here today?
Thank you, Senator Weber. To the family of Dennis Michael Troy, and particularly to B. Troy, to all the children and grandchildren, we're proud to have you here today to honor the legacy of your father and grandfather and your husband. We acknowledge what Senator Weber has read into the record about his extraordinary contributions. Please rise and be recognized. The resolution was previously adopted on February 25th. Senator Gianaris.
The sponsors of today's resolutions would like to open them for co-sponsorship.
The resolutions are open for co-sponsorship. Should you choose not to be a co-sponsor, please notify the desk. Senator Gianaris.
Please take up the calendar.
The Secretary will read.
Calendar number 147, Senate Print 7328B by Senator Hinchy, an act from the Public Service Law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this action will take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Swercott, and Zellner.
Announce results.
In relation to calendar 147, voted in the negative are Senators Helming, Lanza, Steck, and White. Ayes 55, nays 4.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 589, Senate Print 561A by Senator Kruger, an act to amend the Administrative Code of the City of New York.
Read the last section.
Section 4, this action will take effect on the 30th day and shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Swercott, and Zellner.
Announce result.
In relation to calendar 589, voted in the negative are Senators Borrello and Walzek. Ayes 57, nays 2.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 622, Senate Print 6389 by Senator Harkin, an act directing the Commission of Corrections and Community Supervision to study gender disparity in resources.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this action will take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Swercott, and Zellner.
Announce result.
In relation to calendar 622, voted in the negative are Senators Ort and Walzek. Ayes 57, nays 2.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 627, Senate Print 120B by Senator Claire, an act to amend the Public Service Law.
Read the last section.
Section 4, this action will take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Swercott, and Zellner.
Baracker to explain his vote.
Thank you, Madam President. You know, it's imperative that we look to protect the ratepayer. They feel like they're under attack. And anything that we can do that will bring light to this and protect and defend not only my constituents, but those ratepayers here in New York is imperative and necessary. And I would like to thank our senator for bringing this bill to the floor. It makes sense. Thank you, and I proudly vote aye. Thank you.
Senator Baracker to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce results.
In relation to calendar 627, voted in the negative are Senators Griffel, Helming, Martins, O'Mara, Walzek, and Senator White. Ayes 53, nays 6.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 663, Senate Print 4325A by Senator Rhodes, an act authorizing the County of Nassau Assessor to accept an application for a real property tax exemption.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this action will take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Swercott, and Zellner.
Announce results.
In relation to calendar 663, voted in the negative are Senators Fahey, O'Mara, and Skoufis. Ayes 56, nays 3.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 762, Senate Print 7316 by Senator Hinchy, an act to amend the General Municipal Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this action will take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Swercott, and Zellner.
Announce the result.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 800, Senate Print 2453 by Senator Gianaris, an act in the criminal procedure law.
Read the last section.
Section 4, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, Zellner.
Result.
In relation to counters 800, voted in the negative are Senators Ashby, Borrello, Kanzani, Fitzpatrick, Chan, Gallivan, Griffel, Helming, Lanza, Martins, Patera, Murray, Obrecht, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Robinson, Stead, Tedisco, Wozik, Weapon, White. Ayes 37, ayes 22.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 803, Senate Print 9632 by Senator Bailey, an act to amend the criminal procedure law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, Zellner.
Senator Bailey to explain his vote.
Thank you, Madam President. While he stands tough, notice that my colleagues, they have their hands up. I'm hoping that that can change, Madam President, because this bill is about creative expression in the First Amendment. I'm hoping to change the hearts and minds because we know that Bob Marley didn't shoot the sheriff. We know that Johnny Cash didn't shoot a man in Reno. Jasmine Sullivan didn't bust the windows out the car, and Carrie Underwood didn't do all of those things. But yet, in hip-hop music, as said by the great Governor Wes Moore as the bill was signed in Maryland just last week, since the 1980s, 820 criminal cases have been brought up with hip-hop, and since the 1950s, Madam President, 4 have come up with other genres. This is simply about the freedom of expression. So why do I bring this up year after year? Well, Maryland signed it into law, and I wanted to bring up HB 75 in the liberal hotbed state of Louisiana, Madam President, with a veto-proof Republican majority in both chambers. They passed this bill into law in 2023 because it is about freedom of speech. It's not about rap music. Although rap is treated disproportionately when it comes to these criminal cases, it is about freedom of expression. This bill does not bar rap lyrics from entering court or any musical lyrics from entering court. You just have to prove that this has a factual nexus to what you're trying to prove. You can't just bring it into court and say that because someone said a lyric that they have the propensity or that they committed this offense. How many of us in this chamber have used colloquialisms such as, you killed it, you knocked it out the park, you nailed it? I dare to venture that none of us have actually killed anybody, knocked anybody out the park, or nailed anyone. Yet we are allowed to use those colloquialisms in our part of speech. Why should it be any different for a musical artist, specifically a hip-hop artist? California's done it. Maryland's done it. We were the first to introduce it. Louisiana has done it. I'm hopeful that we get a chance to do it this legislative session, that the governor will sign it into law if we can get it passed. And I want to give a shout out to Kevin Liles, who Baltimore, Maryland native himself, who's been instrumental in the Protecting Black Art movement. And I want to give him a shout out on the floor. And I'm hopeful that we can see this law so that we can protect our art. I vote aye, Madam President.
Senator Bailey to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 803, voted in the negative are Senators Ashby, Borrello, Kanzani, Fitzpatrick, Chan, Gallup, Griffo, Helming, Lanza, Martinez, Martins, Patera, Murray, Obrecht, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Stead, Tedisco, Wozik, Weber, and White. Ayes 37, ayes 22.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 850, Senate Print 7335 by Senator Martinez, an act to amend the real property tax law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, Zellner.
Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 896, Senate Print 99088 by Senator Bottcher, an act to amend the Emergency Tenant Protection Act of 1974.
Read the last section.
Section 5, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Sewell Cousins, Zellner.
Announce the result.
In relation to calendar 896, voted in the negative are Senators Ashby, Borrello, Kenzari Fitzpatrick, Chan, Gallivan, and Griffo, Helming, Martins, Matera, Murray, Obarack, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Robinson, Steck, Tedisco, Walzek, Weapon, White. Ayes 38, nays 21.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 898, Senate Print 4780 by Senator Scoopus, an act to amend the general municipal law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 60th day and shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, GNRS, Kruger, Ort, Swilcutt, and Zellner.
Announce the result.
In relation to calendar 898, voted in the negative are Senators Ashby, Borrello, Kenzari Fitzpatrick, Gallivan, Griffo, Helming, Martins, Matera, Murray, Obarack, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Robinson, Steck, Tedisco, Walzek, Weapon, White. Ayes 39, nays 20.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 901, Senate Print 9197 by Senator Griffo, an act to incorporate the new Hartford Volunteer Exempt Firefighters Benevolent Association.
Read the last section.
Section 8, this action takes effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, GNRS, Kruger, Ort, Swilcutt, Zellner.
Announce the result.
Ayes 59.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 915, Senate Print 9788 by Senator Sepulveda, an act to amend the civil practice law and rules.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this action takes effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, GNRS, Kruger, Ort, Swilcutt, Zellner.
Announce the result.
In relation to calendar 915, voted in the negative are Senators Ashby, Borrello, Kenzari Fitzpatrick, Chan, Gallivan, Griffo, Helming, Martins, Matera, Murray, Obarack, O'Mara, Ort, Rollinson, Steck, Tedisco, Walzek, Weapon, White. Ayes 40, nays 19.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 954, Senate Print 10042 by Senator May, an act to amend the Environmental Conservation Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this action will take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, GNRS, Kruger, Ort, Swilcutt, Zellner.
Announce the result.
Ayes 59.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 959, Senate Print 10047 by Senator Bino, an act to amend the Environmental Conservation Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this action will take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, GNRS, Kruger, Ort, Swilcutt, Zellner.
Announce the result.
Ayes 59.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 989, Senate Print 3247 by Senator Cooney, an act to amend the Public Authorities Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this action will take effect on the same date and in the same manner as Chapter 618 of the laws of 2024.
Call the roll.
Adabo, GNRS, Kruger, Ort, Swilcutt, Zellner.
Announce the result.
In relation to calendar 989, voted in the negative are Senators O'Mara, Ort, and Walzek. Ayes 56, nays 3.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 1011, Senate Print 5989A by Senator Bino, an act to amend the education law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 120th day and shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, GNRS, Kruger, Ort, Swilcutt, Zellner.
Announce the result.
Ayes 59.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 1035, Senate Print 182 by Senator Passan, an act to amend the social services law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, GNRS, Kruger, Ort, Swilcutt, Zellner.
Announce the result.
Ayes 59.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 1036, Senate Print 360 by Senator Rivera, an act to amend the public health law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, GNRS, Kruger, Ort, Swilcutt, Zellner.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1036, voted in the negative are Senators Ashby, Borrello, Kenzari Fitzpatrick, Chan, Gallivan, Griffo, Helming, Lanza, Matera, Murray, Obarack, O'Mara, Ort, Palumbo, Rhodes, Steck, Tedisco, Walzek, and White. Ayes 40, nays 19.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1037, Senate Print 429 by Senator Salazar, an act to amend the executive law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect on the 180th day and shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Sukan, Zellner.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1037, voted in the negative are Senators Borrello, Oberacker, and Walzek. Ayes 56, nays 3.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 1040, Senate Print 1067A by Senator Serrano, an act to amend the Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation Law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect on the 120th day and shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Sukan, Zellner.
Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1043, Senate Print 1849A by Senator Mayer, an act to amend the Judiciary Law.
Read the last section.
Section 5, this act shall take effect 2 years after it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Sukan, Zellner.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1043, voted in the negative are Senators Borrello, Kazari Fitzpatrick, Chan, Gallivan, Griffo, Oberacker, Steck, Tedisco, Walzek, and White. Ayes 49, nays 10.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1045, Senate Print 2126 by Senator Jackson, an act to amend the Education Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Sukan, Zellner.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1045, voted in the negative are Senators Lanza and Walzek. Ayes 57. In relation to calendar 1045, voted in the negative are Senators Lanza and Walzek. Ayes 57, nays 2.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1047, Senate Print 2470 by Senator Parker, an act to amend the real property tax law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Sukan, Zellner.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1047, voted in the negative are Senators Borrello, Kazari Fitzpatrick, Chan, Griffo, Helming, Lanza, Martins, Matera, Murray, O'Mara, Ort, Rhodes, Skoufis, Walzek, and White. Ayes 44, nays 15.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 1048, Senate Print 2602 by Senator Addabbo, an act to amend the executive law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 180th day and shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Sukan, Zellner.
Senator Borrello to explain his vote.
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, I want to thank Senator Addabbo for sponsoring this bill. I'm proud to be a co-sponsor. I think now more than ever, this is important. We have sovereign nations within our state, and not only do they represent themselves and thousands of other members, but they also stand for a lot of things that end up benefiting other communities. One of those examples is the compact, the Seneca Nation Compact, which is now, I believe, 3 years in arrears. So now more than ever, it's time for the legislature to step in and become part of the conversation so that our sovereign nations throughout New York State can be treated fairly and equitably. So I proudly vote aye. Thank you.
Senator Borrello to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 1049, Senate Print 4042A by Senator Harcum, an act to amend the civil practice law and the public buildings law.
Read the last section.
Section 4, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Sukan, Zellner.
Senator Harcum to explain his vote.
Thank you very much, Madam President. You know, one of the rights of session every day is hundreds, if not thousands, of our constituents come to the Capitol, come to the Legislative Office building to lobby us personally, whether it be for budgetary items or legislative items. And yet many of our constituents are not able to make it up here. And they're not able to make it here because our travel facilities, the throughways, this building, the Capitol, the Legislative Office building, don't have adult sanitary changing stations. So the persons with disabilities traumatic brain injuries, veterans with injuries, and others are unable to travel more than a 2-hour radius. And further, they can't enjoy just the multitude of amazing amenities that New York State has to offer, whether it's Broadway, whether it's our state parks, whether it's concert venues, sporting facilities. So the Traveling with Dignity Act will require that public facilities install appropriate sanitary facilities or adult changing stations for persons with disabilities so that they can travel beyond more than a 2-hour radius, which is about the amount of time that folks have between service, as the advocates have reported it to us. So this is not covered in the Americans with Disabilities Act, so therefore this is the kind of thing that we at the state level need to address. I want to thank colleagues for past support on this bill. I want to thank all my dear friends at CP Unlimited of the Hudson Valley who first brought this to my attention and who advocated so hard for this bill under the leadership of Penny Lynn Pagliaro. Just a remarkable and inspirational group of folks. So thank you, Madam President. Thank you to colleagues for their support, and I'll be voting aye.
Senator Harkam to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1049, voted in the negative, Senator Walzek, ayes 58, nays 1.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 1078, Senate Print 9516 by Senator Kavanaugh, an act to amend the alcoholic beverage control law.
Read last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, Zoner.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 1078, voted in the negative are Senators Walzek and Martinez, ayes 57, nays 2.
The bill is passed. Senator Giannaris, that completes the reading of today's calendar.
I want to remind my majority colleagues we will be having conference immediately following session. And with that, is there any further business at the desk?
There is no further business at the desk.
I move to adjourn until tomorrow, Tuesday, May 19th at 3 p.m.
On motion, the Senate stands adjourned until Tuesday, May 19th at 3 p.m.